of this amazing call for everybody. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm Denise Hyde, community builder with the Eden Alternative. It is awesome to see all of your faces and your names flashing across the screen. It's awesome. So we are going to try something a little different today. We thought it might be more fun to kind of do some small group stuff, which is part of what this system, this online system will do. Into some smaller conversations so you have a chance to talk with each other rather than just chatting the whole time. And so Kevin Peterson, good friend and awesome dude from the West Coast, is going to kind of lead us through that process. So we'll do that for about half an hour, and then we will come back together and do kind of a debrief, talk about what you heard and what you saw, and then we will kind of close up our time together. So that's the plan for the day. So Kevin, I am going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Denise, and hello, everybody. I'm very excited today to introduce this group to some of the really exciting features that Zoom has that makes it capable for us to connect kind of one-on-one and have a little bit more direct engagement. There are a few technical issues that might arise, so we're going to address those. I want to give a couple more minutes for folks to get logged in and get settled. So I'm going to talk about the technical issues, and then I'm going to ask Bill to talk a little bit about how we've used these structures and these techniques in our work. So the first issue is for the activity, we're going to be inviting people to break out into rooms and actually have a conversation together. So if you don't have audio, I'm going to ask you to not join the breakout rooms. It'll be an invitation that says, click here to join the breakout room. If you don't have audio, you can stay in the main room with me, and I'll tell you a story or something, and you can stay involved. But just so you know, we're going to spend time chatting. So if you don't have an audio connection and you can't get an audio connection, just ignore the invitation. The other issue is some people log in on 2 devices, one for video and one for audio. That's also problematic because the video portion where you can't talk might get sent into a room to talk to somebody, and they'll be by themselves. So if you can log in on 1 device, that would be preferable. So I'm going to ask Bill to just talk for a couple minutes to give a little context about how we've used this for some of our work. And I'm going to just kind of check the participants. I'm going to look and just see who I'm worried about, and I might send you a chat just to ask you if you have audio or not. But Bill, why don't you go ahead and just kind of say, tell a little bit about what we've done with these types of techniques and with the Magic Project and the tour.
So I think first off, hopefully a lot of you will, if you don't know Kevin, you'll get to know Kevin. He's been a friend and collaborator and Eden tribal member for many, many years. And Kevin and I actually organized, with the help of some of the people on this call, the Changing Aging Tour, which was really based on the idea that conversation is the way forward, that being with people, talking with people, exchanging ideas with people is really how we make progress. And so we did, the Changing Aging Tour in real life with a bus instead of Zoom. And then we took those ideas we learned from the Changing Aging Tour and used them in another community engagement project called Magic, which you guys are going to hear more about as time goes on, which is a way of thinking about multi-ability, multi-generational, inclusive communities. All through it, we've stayed true to what I think is a core value of Eden, which is every voice is important. Every voice should be heard. Every voice should be honored. And when I think about the success that Eden's had over the decades, that success has really been based on this idea that we all have something important and useful and valuable to contribute. So I'm going to kick it back over to Kevin because he's going to show us how to use this particular tool, Zoom, in what for some of you might be some exciting new ways. So we're going to both connect, talk, relate, and communicate, and we're going to learn a new skill, which I think might help us in other ways as well. So back to you, Kevin.
Yay, thank you, Bill. I threw up an article in the chat box to everyone, just with a little reference about how we've used this. The final thing that I'll share is some of you have heard of some of the work we've done in Seattle. Momentia is a really remarkable grassroots community that I participated by facilitating these types of conversations, and the outcome was that people living with dementia in Seattle created their own identity, their own movement, and organize their own activities in the community. And that model is now being replicated statewide and in British Columbia, and invite folks to check it out. And then I also use these same techniques to build a Eden-based home care company in Montana. And so I just can't endorse enough what Bill said about the power of conversation to connect people. So last week, Denise and the group, we closed with mentioning that the theme for this Friday was to include the voices of elders, to really talk about addressing loneliness, helplessness, and boredom, but from the context of how do we include the voices of elders in that conversation. So we have many elders of all different types on the call today. We can all, I think we've all been deeply enmeshed in working with elders, and we can reflect and share things that we've learned from them. So we're going to have breakout conversations, and I'm going to put into the chat box, and I hope everyone can see it. And what I'll do is I'll share it in the chat box, and I'll also put it on the whiteboard, a conversation invitation. So when I launch the breakout rooms, you're going to be paired up with a partner, and you guys are going to share the time equally and ask each other to answer the following question. What lessons from elders have you applied to minimize loneliness, helplessness, and boredom? That's the first question. What lessons from elders, either from yourself as an elder, something you've learned from elders, what lessons have you applied? And then you're going to follow that up with, what do you hope to get from and give from this group? So we always like to have as part of the conversation, what's in it for you? Why do you care? We always invite people to think about, what do you want to give and what do you want to get? That's part of the care partnership dynamic. So I put the question in the chat box, and when I break you out, I'm going to send it again to everybody so you kind of have it as reference. And before I do that, final things, if you are not having audio, you don't have audio, you can just stay in the main room, and I'll do my best to entertain you. And then for folks who are in the breakout rooms, if you have issues, there is a button where you can ask for help. So feel free to hit that button, and that'll get my attention. I'll do what I can to help. Otherwise, I'm going to break you out, and I'm going to give you about 3 minutes for this conversation. So you want to be quick, you want to be direct, share your time equally. And the last thing I'll let you know is we're actually going to have the opportunity for 3 different conversations. So I'm going to break everybody out, see how it goes, and we're going to come back quickly. And then I'm going to break you out again for a second conversation, same question, new partner, and then a third conversation. And just so by the end of this, having interacted with people, I think we're all going to have kind of some really interesting insights that we've shared and we've gained. So we're going to give it a shot. And I want to ask everyone to bear with us with any technical difficulties. And we'll see how it goes. We'll call this an experiment, this first round. So let me adjust the room so we've got just enough. I would say that that was a fantastic experiment I think for a lot of people for your first time using breakout rooms in Zoom. So this is a very powerful technology. I mean, it's a very powerful tool to have in your repertoire. So I want to thank everybody for being adventurous enough to try this on a fly with a very large group. As you can see, it takes a little bit of practice. If anybody did not get a chance to do a breakout room, I just want to really apologize for not being included. The bedrock purpose of these structures is to get everyone an opportunity to participate. So as you can see, we've been able to kick off this meeting with everyone having a chance to personally participate and have part of a conversation. So I'm going to turn the facilitation back over to Denise. And now we'd love to have some share outs. I saw a lot of activity in the chat box, and I'd love to just start with the people who are able to connect and have a profound conversation. And I'll invite Denise to help facilitate some share outs of that. Let me just find where you are, Denise.
Thank you,
Are.
Kevin. You've got the big load today, so I really appreciate you doing that. I know what it's like to move people in and out of breakout rooms, so totally appreciate you doing that. Well, part of what we wanted to do today was to hear from the elders and hear from their family members and just kind of get a sense of what this is like for everybody. And I know I saw Mary Kay. Is Mary Kay still on? Because I would love to hear from Mary Kay. And Mary Kay, if you are muted, there you go. Go down to the bottom of your Zoom window and over to the left and just click on the microphone, and that should unmute you. So kind of hover your cursor over. I can see you're looking.
Oh, you know,
Okay,
There we go. Good.
There she is.
Yeah.
Mary Kay, it's very nice to meet you. And do you want to share anything with the group?
I just want to thank you all for what you're doing. You are our guardian angels to the elderly. You keep us up to date on what's going on, and you give us hope and inspiration. So thank you all, and God bless you for what you do.
Absolutely. So Mary Kay, what lessons, life lessons are helping you through this time?
My mother was a very wise woman, and she taught me that busy hands do not get bored, so there's always something to do. And if you do for others, there's no room for boredom when you're helping others. So that's my belief, and that's how I stay sane through this whole thing. My faith and the things that my mother taught me as a young woman.
Very nice. So Mary Kay, any wisdom you want to pass around to this group? Because like they reach out and touch a lot of elders' lives. Tell me, is there any wisdom you would pass along to them?
I would say be patient, understanding, and comforting to them, because they're so lonely. Some have no one to talk to. And if you're their contact, treat them like you would treat your own parents.
Very nice. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to share, Mary Kay?
I just want to thank my guardian angel, who is my Nicole. Everybody knows Nicole Brackett. And she's the one that's helping see me through this rough time. I have compromised my lungs. I have COPD. So I have not been out of the house for probably 3 weeks now, if not longer. And she's my contact. She's my source of getting groceries and staying in touch with me and helping see me through this.
Yeah, she is an awesome daughter you have raised.
Yes, I'm very proud of her. And I just want everybody to remember that God brought us to this, and he's going to see us all through it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Mary Kay. We appreciate you being on the call today.
Oh, I enjoy it. Thank you.
You are
I
welcome.
learn a lot. Very inspirational.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Any other elders? I had a hint that Mary Kay was going to be on today, so that's why I knew that she was coming on. Nicole, do you want to say anything?
I love you, Mom, and I'm glad that we figured out this technology together, and so you could join in and find out how important you and all the other elders are to our generation and to what's going on. So love you, Mama.
Love you too, my dear.
All right. Yay. Anybody else, elders or family members in the room that would like to chime in? Again, you can mute and unmute yourself by going to the bottom of your Zoom window and over to the left, and there's a little microphone. You can click it on and off. Go ahead, Evie.
So as an elder who has suddenly been shut down into elderhood, I just want to say that the one thing I've learned about life is everything passes. This too shall pass. And we're all very fortunate, and we have to be in gratitude every day for what we do have. Even in our quarantine and our staying isolated from everyone, those of us who are at home who cannot work, we're in comfort. We have everything we need. So the gratitude is really important.
Yeah, I was listening to something today and I thought, you know, I'm in gratitude for the people that are keeping the electricity going, that are keeping the sewer systems running, that are keeping the food on the shelves at the stores. It's like, I have new gratitude for a lot of different people right now. Important jobs, important jobs. Anybody else, any words of wisdom that you would like to share? Or anything you heard in your conversation that just kind of like blew your mind that you'd like to share?
Hi, this is Chris. Kyrie, would you please share your thoughts? It was wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you for that assessment. Yes, for context, I live in the middle of a city and I work from home, but a big part of what brings joy to my life is leaving my home to go to yoga studios and restaurants and participate in community and life. So being stuck in here, the folks, I live with 2 other humans, my spouse and best friend, and we were going a little stir crazy and had the idea to make signs of our favorite places that we couldn't go anymore, you know? So we put like yoga tree above our yoga mats and Ragazza, our favorite restaurant, above our table that we eat at. And we started referring to these places as that. And it like has really, really helped with the stir craziness. And it's made me do a little bit of revision on my own past criticism on the like what I would have called fake main streets that are sometimes in long-term care, and like realizing that while they are not as good as the real thing, I'd much rather go to my actual yoga class. They are a whole heck of a lot better than nothing. And I'm really, really surprised at how much that has really helped us to be able to create community and life in this time, and really given me a lot of respect for the life that all of our elders living in long-term care create for themselves.
Very nice. Thank you. That's a great idea. Hey, Chris, can I call on you? I know you called on Kyrie, but tell them about the story you told us this morning about the bear.
Oh yeah. So you know, I live right in the city, in the neighborhood, and so many people. I mean, my husband said there's hundreds of people walking in the park. You know, a lot of them without dogs. So, but during this time we have a lot of children, people are at home. So I'm trying to participate in everything. So I have, in case people are out on a bear hunt, which is a thing, I have a stuffed teddy bear like splayed up in my window. I have a little bear outside in my fairy garden. And then there's also this wild animal hunt going on. So I have this big wooden giraffe that I put out by the mailbox. And then there's also hunting rainbows. So I printed off different rainbows. You're supposed to have your kids make them, but I don't have any of those. So I printed off some rainbows, and that's up in my window. So I'm trying to do my part in community, I guess, to make sure that when these kids are out on these walks, that they're finding these different things, whatever scavenger hunt they're doing.
So how did you find out about that? Because I'm thinking there's a lot of elders that could be putting things in their windows and be a part of that if that's happening in their community. How did you find out about that?
Facebook. All on Facebook, and I'm part of it's called HPNA, Highland Park Neighborhood Association page on our Facebook page. But these are just other ideas that have come up that I've seen, and I just want to make sure I'm participating in them all, just in case whatever's going on out there. Okay. So people are using their recreation time for their homeschooling by going out on some of these walks and doing these hunts.
I love the idea of as education systems struggle to figure out how to start doing distance learning in an equitable manner. People with facilities maybe consider reaching out to a local school to see if there's any way you could participate, something like that, an educational scavenger hunt where elders were involved. I mean, could be a brilliant intergenerational activity that's safe and socially distant.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Very cool. Anybody else? Any insights from your conversations? It sounds from the chat box like you got inspired a lot.
I always really love to hear what people want to get out of something.
Oh, okay.
That's why we ask them that, because you don't always necessarily think about that. And I know this first practice session, you might not have all got to that question. But I'd love for people to either share what they heard someone else say they want to get out of this, or share what do you want to get out of it? Because that goes to purpose. It always drives the purpose. What do you guys want to get out of these calls?
Well, I'd jump in, Kevin, if I could. I think Jude and I want to be part of a conversation with people we respect and that we admire. And I want to be reminded of things that are so easy to forget when I get afraid or scared. Mm. I want, people to be there that I can listen to and learn from and gain from and maybe sometimes I can do the same for them. That's why I think these things are important for me.
Thank you. Nice. Who else? What did you want to get out of our time together? I see Jenny's back. Jenny, I have to tell you that a lot of people have been sharing the ideas that you shared in the first time we were together. So you are a hit.
Denise, you have a couple things in the chat box.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Comfort that we are not alone. Thank you, Angela. Where'd I get? Okay, curious. I want to get hearing all of your lovely stories and hope to give, connecting, and supporting where I can. Jennifer says she'd like ideas and inspiration. Mel says I'm here for selfish reasons to alleviate my loneliness, helplessness, and boredom with people I love. I love that. Very cool. Yeah, you totally can write in the chat box. Yep.
I'm seeing a lot of requests for more ideas. So we generated a lot of ideas those first two. I'm seeing a lot of commonality in that as well.
Okay. Very good. So we can open the floor for people to unmute. Hi, Mary, you want to say something?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, this is Mary from Human Good, and here is to help the life enrichment at Human Good to elevate themselves. There's so much focus on the medical side of things, the healthcare side, keeping people safe, and we all just kind of looked at each other and said, wait, what about all the other stuff that makes quality of life what it is? So I'm here to bring inspiration to my team so that I can just help them feel supported, but also to give them really practical ideas and tools. Like they've all gone from in-person and face-to-face, toe-to-toe to now virtual. And so it's a whole new skill set, but it's the same heart. And so how do I help them translate that heart over to the new toolkit?
Very nice.
You know, if I could just jump in, Mary, I think partly if you could see in this call the power of people coming together, and maybe you might be able to use the breakout rooms and some of the methods that Kevin is teaching so that you can replicate this inside the communities you care most about.
Yes, we've started. Just before this call, we had last week's call today with our own team. So I'm just like taking notes from what you all are doing, and Christine Almadine, my colleague, is on the call today as well. So we're really trying to model the wonderful collaboration that you're all doing here, and thank you for making it available to us to learn.
You better believe it.
Yeah.
Very nice, very nice. Brenda says we want to continue our Eden journey and be able to focus on positive versus doom and gloom. And I love this. Our neighbors are at peace, and we are doing prayers with our neighbors. And I don't know, Brenda, do you want to unmute and share anything else? She's from way up there in Wisconsin. Not hearing her unmute.
Takes a long time for the signal to get down from Wisconsin.
It does. It does. Kathy says, I want to hear what other people are doing to combat loneliness, helplessness, and boredom during this time, and share my colleagues' experiences. Kathy, tell us about your colleagues' experiences.
Well, it was my colleagues and my experiences.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know, Joan might be able to answer the question around her own, so I'm not going to really share that. But we share with each other, you know, and the support that we're getting here, which is so wonderful. So glad you're doing it and so glad to be involved in it, is something that we within our small group, small team, do and help each other a lot. So as much as we can connect like this, it's so important. And you know, in the first question that we all had during the breakouts, what was really clear was just what we've learned from our elders and that we know is the importance of family, community, and connection. And so that's especially true now, but we can't forget once this is over, which hopefully it will be at some point, that we have to remember how important that is and really focus on it.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Ryan says, I'm here to connect, meet new people, and gain new ideas and share with others. Trisha Jean says, ideas. Oh, this will be a good one. We'll see what other people have. Ideas to care for our care partners. They are also working through and even suffering from the 3 plagues, both inside and outside of our care community. So I would imagine even those that could not come into work because they've picked something up are struggling as well. And anybody have any ideas they can share with Trisha Jean?
I'll share. I have a team of about 80 care partners working largely in isolation and even more in isolation now. So we've utilized Zoom to do a really rapid daily check-in, and using this kind of same technique, we came up with, the team came up with their own check-in, and the questions that they want to kind of check everyone's pulse are first, what was the biggest challenge today that I had? And then the second question they ask, what went really well today to share? And then the third one was, what do I hope, what's my goal for tomorrow? And then out of that, they say, okay, what can I do? What do I need to do to achieve that goal tomorrow? And that allows everybody to at least have a quick 15, 20-minute kind of check-in with the community, get inspired, share, and then we're just taking it day by day, just to kind of see what resources people need to achieve their hopes and goals each day.
Thank you.
And Kevin, what's the size of that group? Is that all like 80 people?
No, it's really hard. So we started doing this last Friday, and so day to day we can usually get maybe 15, 20 people. Everyone's got a different schedule, so we do it kind of at the same time, day to day. It depends on who's on the shift. Yeah, it's such a challenge in the home care area because we don't, you don't have that group at all. It's very hard to bring people together.
If I could share, just another tool is Marco Polo, if you haven't used that. Now, you don't want to be talking about medical things or HIPAA related things.
That is great.
Marco Polo is an app. It's free, where you can leave videos for each other, and it's a really great way to build community with technology.
Thank you. Awesome. So Jenny, you said you got some ideas to share. Do you have anything to share on this topic, or just in general? Because we would love to hear from you.
So on this topic, when I was talking in the breakout session, I guess that's the next question that I want to bring to my elders is not just how to survive this and that this too shall pass, but kind of the inner workings, right? How we deal with the daily tension. And so I love what you said, Kevin, about just kind of that daily check-in. I think that's beautiful. My life revolves around life engagement, so those are most of my ideas, but I thought I would share a few things. So we started doing family Zooms every afternoon just before lunch, so the families call in. Yesterday we did a raucous sing-along. We sang Lean on Me. There was not a dry eye in the internet. It was amazing. But we're also doing a virtual book club with families, so we're reading each day we read a chapter of Bill's book, In the Arms of Elders, and have a little book session about that. So that's been really beautiful. Our elders are working on yard signs. So I think Kyrie shared this picture last time of yard signs. So the elders are, on one side of the sign, we have kids who've written positive affirmations for elders. And then on the other side, it's the elders' wisdom to the community. And those will line this afternoon, the main road in front of us. We've got high school kids doing video diaries, asking elders for advice, not just, hey, how you doing, how's the weather? I've been really mindful to document the journey. It might look ugly, but I want to be able to look back and see what life looked like when I had a thermometer to my head every time I walked in, or our raw hands from washing them so much. I think that's how I document, and I think that's really important. What else? Oh, the elders wanted to feel like they could give back, so they've been painting kindness rocks, because kindness rocks. And we're still allowed to do sightseeing tours. So yesterday we went around and dropped off rocks just at busy parks and things like that. So I'd jump off the bus and toss one into the sidewalk, and we'd move on from there. I was really inspired. I think Evie was talking about at the last call, how we get the word out about the good things that are happening in the work that we're trying to do. So for my friends in Denver, check this article out today. I know it's hard to see, but it talks about window visits and a particular couple that is just making the most of this and has so much to share. And I love that the article even honors just that sense of that the elders have lived through things, and that their wisdom in this too shall pass is very much reflected in that. So that's what I'm up to. Thanks.
Well done, Jenny. I just got to say that was terrific. And I love the specificity and the imagination and the reminder to everybody on the call that our imagination does not get the virus. Our imagination is unencumbered by the virus. So, you know, we can do cool stuff. And I would throw out, you brought it up, but I'd just remind everybody that in the earliest years of Eden, one of the things Jude really emphasized was documenting your journey and making a scrapbook of how you got, because when the frost comes, you can pull out your memories, scrapbook memories, and go, oh my gosh, remember this, remember what we did, remember who we are, you know, and that we can do this again. So this idea of creating historical documents and doing it collaboratively is an act of meaning and purpose, to go back to what Kevin was saying. And I think you raised some really important, foundationally important ideas there in your comments, and I wanted to say thank you.
Denise, you're muted.
I loved that cruise ship example. Everyone should look at that. Anybody could do that. That's incredible.
Okay, Michelle Daniel, did you have something you wanted to add?
There we are. You know, you think about how amazing the generation is that we're care partnering with. And, you know, some of them were World War II adults or children of those who went through that. And I think about Rosie the Riveter and how amazing our elders are and what all they've been through. And our elders heard that there is a shortage of masks. And although we don't have a positive yet, and we hope not to, but we don't have a positive yet, but the elders wanted us to be prepared. And so elders started sewing masks for us and gowns for us and utilizing their skills and talents, which is absolutely beautiful and incredible. And they are care partnering with us and getting us through this. And that is just so incredible. And I am not on a community or in a community right now. I'm at home with kids and homeschooling and all that good stuff because I'm part of a home office. So I'm trying to connect and network to give them resources so they can do what they need to do, like having materials sent and the elastic sent and things like that. But just trying to connect people to give them the tools so they can do what they want to do. And I think that's absolutely beautiful. And then taking care of the care partners, I did want to share that, one of our communities is not on the Eden registry yet. They were so close to applying, and I'm like, you can do it, just take the leap. But because they're so farther along in their journey than they give themselves credit for. But anyway, they created a sanctuary is what they call it now instead of the break room. And that room is a place for team members to go and be nourished. And it's not the vending machine. It's the notes of encouragement. It's the boxes of candy. It's the quiet place for a moment to fill their cup because of caring for the caregiver. And y'all, it took me years to understand and to be able to grasp that I'm not being selfish to fill my own cup so that I can give to others. And I think that's huge that they've identified that give them a place to go and decompress for a moment and feel loved so they can go back and love again. And I just think that was so amazing that they called it the sanctuary. And from here on, I've challenged the other campuses, the other communities, hey, why can't we have sanctuaries everywhere? We should have sanctuaries everywhere. Do elders need a sanctuary? You know, and ask those questions of, do we all have a safe place to decompress and a safe place to feel loved and to take that on and to fill our cup? And that's okay to do. And sometimes we hold back, oh, I'm strong, I don't need to do that. You know, I'm gonna go and never stop. Well, we're gonna run out and get burnt out, and we don't know how long this is gonna be. And so to give that opportunity, to give that place, that sanctuary is crucial. So I just wanted to share that.
Hey, Michelle, if I could just add on to that, you know, I think that this is an example of a lesson from this situation that we will hopefully take forward with us, right? It should always be like that, and people having a space to take care of themselves. So I read something today, you know, before we all rush to go back to the old normal, let's think about, is that really what we want to go back to? So what lessons can we be taking away? And I think that's a really beautiful lesson that you just shared.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice. Go ahead, Laura.
Just along those lines, because I love hearing the conversation about sanctuary, taking care of our employee care partners, elder care partners, everyone. Kim McCray, you posted something on Facebook that just took me down yesterday. It was all the people shouting out of the windows of buildings for Atlanta healthcare workers. And I mean, there was this just bellowing sound in the middle of the city. And so for me, I know we've said gratitude a number of different times today, but that level of gratitude, I mean, can you imagine? It was so beautiful. And that is something I'd love for us to take away. It's just like Denise said, you know, I never really thought about the garbage before or the whatever, but how can we hold on to that deep awareness of what people give of themselves every day?
I'll just add really fast, you know, that's what's been happening in other parts of the world. And I saw a post, I think I posted it yesterday, is having all the church bells ring at 10 o'clock. It's like, ask not for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee, or, you know, and just coming up with a way to get everybody connected so that the healthcare workers and the people, not just the healthcare workers, but those who are doing the doing, to keep everybody going, that we're all thanking them. So I liked that idea as well, because that's something that everybody can hear louder.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we are, oh my gosh, 3 minutes until the time is up. I can't believe it. I know everybody's going so sad. So here's two things to do to kind of wrap it up. Number one is, what do you still need to get from this group? So what would be useful stuff for you, or what personal commitment are you going to make in order to move further this week? What are something that came out of this that you want to take forward? So in the chat box, be doing that. And then I'm going to launch a poll to vote on whether or not you guys want to keep doing this through the month of April. So vote on the poll, and then kind of write what are some of your personal commitments or things you want to take away from this, or yeah. I'm going to do my best to share all these amazing ideas, Kyrie says. Oh, okay. Alan Wolfelt from the Center of Loss and Life Transition has a wonderful article on this pandemic of grief. I think we have to acknowledge the loss, in this, and allow people to grieve as necessary. Absolutely. So that might be a topic. Maybe we talk about how to grieve through this, and what loss is like. Jude and Bill pledged to be here now. Lisa says, get back to blogging about these ideas. Yay. Nicole says, master the breakout room functionality. I think she liked that sanctuary idea. Michelle, I would like continued connectivity. Yes, keep this up. Promise to share this information with the Methodist Senior Services team. You are all such a blessing. Mary says, I'm going to share back to Human Good CEO and our Life and Enrichment team. Gail says, the sanctuary idea is fabulous. We're going to get to work on that today. I love this. Alexandra says, I've written down some of what's been shared. Going to share what I heard on our company Facebook page. Kaven says, I invite anybody to email me for a Zoom breakout room tutorial. Thank you, Kaven. That's awesome. Angela, oh my gosh, thank you so much. She says, loving this, so worth getting up in the middle of the night for. Yes, we love you, Angela. It's awesome. Joan says, I'm inspired by creativity. Sherry says, we'd like to continue connecting with all. It's important to keep in touch. Jacqueline says, I pledge to continue to support my team with ideas that are shared with social people. I will be sharing that. Jane says, I'm going to share this information with others in my area and family members. Thank you so much. Kim says, being with you all. Star says, I want to take what I've learned here and use it to inspire the rest of the team to use their imaginations. Mel says, continue sharing Zoom with elders so I know they can connect with others. Kathy says, I think we need this as much as our elders do. I love it. I love it. All right. So far we are unanimous. Yes, we want to keep doing this. I love this. So I don't know who the president of New Zealand is, or whoever those have that link. Quarantine choir via Skype with different care homes across New Zealand. That's a really cool idea. I like that. What did you call it? Corona caroling or something, Kim, I think the first week. I thought that was funny. Matthew says, bring ideas to care partners in the community that attend my support group. Awesome. Ruth says, including information in our newsletters going out to families. Thank you. That's awesome. The person from New Zealand says, I want to talk too much. I'll wake up my neighbors. Okay. Jennifer says, how to be mindful that some people are okay with all of this, not forcing more connection than what is desirable because many others will be feeling disconnected. Yeah. So I thought that's brilliant. Yeah. Just because we feel the need doesn't mean everybody does. So thank you for that. All right, you guys, we are at the bottom of the hour. We are 100% committed to going. So I will schedule more Zoom meetings for the month of April and we will stay connected. I will send you out the chat and the recording link, share it widely, and let's get some even more people on the call next week. You guys are brilliant and awesome. Thank you so much. Any closing comments from anybody?
I just want to add, just thanks for those that did try the breakout feature with us this week. We will not be starting with that next week. So come join us next week. We'll try something a little different.
Yeah.
Thank you for liberating structures and sharing that with us, Kaven.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Everybody have a
you.
great week. Hang in there. I'm definitely excited to see everybody next week.
See you next week.
You all too.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.